Hello everybody, welcome back to We're the Cranky Films channel. Today we have Epic to Serina Part 4.
Woo!
Yup, this was requested actually multiple times.
How many times, Cody?
Like 5,
Multiple.
6. Yeah, 5,
Nice.
6, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, throughout the time we've
Been a
last posted
minute.
Part 3. Been a minute.
I did like part 3. Yeah, that was really good. It's really cool,
good.
real interesting.
Yeah, we got friendship and betrayal. Well, we had a whole war going on last episode.
There was a whole war.
Whole war, and then peace treaties were signed, and
That
now
was wild, bro.
we
That's a
have-
whole movie.
Yeah, now we have friendly relations right now.
Are we gonna watch this until the world ends, basically, for Serena?
Probably.
I have no clue, big dog. All I know is that I am ready to get in this. You guys are?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Alright, let's get it. 18 minutes. Subtitles are on.
Welcome back to Curious Archive. This video is a new chapter in my long-running series exploring the incredible speculative evolution project of Serina, the world of birds. Serina was created by Dylan Beta, a terrific artist and world builder, and many exciting developments have occurred since we last explored his creation. You may remember the fascinating premise of the Serina project.
Yo,
An
canaries.
unknown force leaves a colony of finches on the moon of Serina, along with a few other plant and animal species to serve as their food supply. The project imagines the amazing life forms that evolve from these humble beginnings over millions of years, creatures that I've explored in past videos. For this entry into the archive,
Gotta
we'll
see more about
chronicle
the
the next
Gravediggers.
era in this evolutionary
For real.
epic, and witness the rise and fall of countless species as the world of Serina continues to change. So, let's return to this strange moon, and remember to support Dylan Beta on Patreon
True.
using the links below if you're a fan of this project.
Okay.
When we left off, the moon of Serina was home to a teeming menagerie of incredible life forms. Yet as the Middle Ultimocene period wears on, the planet has continued to cool, and in this changing environment, many species are now threatened.
Oh, is this the Ice Age?
Somewhere
It
on the
seems so.
steppe on a cold night, the last of the flying giants looms tall above the grasses. For 10 million years, their species, the storm sonars, ruled the skies as the largest flying life forms ever to exist. Now, without enough
What
warm
happened?
land to reproduce, this storm sonar will be the last of their
That's
kind.
so sad.
The loss of the storm
No.
sonars is emblematic of how more specialized species won't survive this changing world. And thus
Alright.
far on Serina, no
Hey,
species has
the
had a
homies.
story like the woodcrafters and the gravediggers. For
Love the
centuries,
woodcrafters.
these two life forms were enemies, predator and prey divided by a seemingly insurmountable gap. Yet now, these two species live together in peace,
Yeah, the homies.
and remain in harmony for the
Nice.
next several millennia. In the words of the author, the triumphs and tragedies, the joys and the sadness of 10,000 years worth of lifetimes could fill their own story. But upon Serina, where chapters are more often measured in tens of millions of years, their time together is just a dog-eared page in the book of life.
Damn.
And this chapter
Dear.
too must come to a close,
Short.
for the woodcrafters
No.
eventually go extinct.
No.
Always a small population with a highly specialized diet.
You guys were
As
cool,
temperatures
bruh.
change, they find that the broadleaf forests they depend on disappear, and soon only one woodcrafter remains. On nights
must
where the
suck.
skies are clear, the elderly last woodcrafter stands on the shore of the ocean and looks out at the horizon. Most nights her small companion, a chattering sparrow gull simply called Bird, joins her.
Bird.
As a chatterer, Bird possesses the ability to mimic the woodcrafter's language, even if they can't grasp the full meaning of the words. Yet on nights like this, when the last woodcrafter repeats the phrase, "I love you, Bird," to their dear friend, Bird
Okay.
understands that they are cared for. After
I
a
thought
long
they
life,
would've, like,
the
dated.
elderly last woodcrafter comes to rest, surrounded
the
by her
Gravedigger?
gravedigger family. In her lifetime,
weren't
she's
compatible.
seen the gravediggers achieve things she never knew were possible, harnessing blazing lights in their hands and shaping tools unlike anything her kind had made. What's more, the gravediggers have begun to weave grasses into floating structures, upon which they ride
Yeah,
out into the
boats?
sea for
Wow.
days at a
Dang.
time. The last
Wow.
woodcrafter knows the gravediggers will continue to change the world, and urges them to explore what lies beyond the horizon. And just before the last woodcrafter closes
story,
her
dude.
eyes,
Let's
she
go.
sees glimpses of a cosmic story she can't understand. Images of a small bird, a little fish,
Bird.
moments long before her time and moments yet to occur. And through it all, the last woodcrafter feels a strange presence who tells her she's done well. And then, the page turns to another chapter, and the last woodcrafter is no
That's
more.
having sad,
Oh.
The
dude.
Gravedigger family lay her to rest on the
Oh.
hill overlooking the sunset she so enjoyed. In an act that brings the saga of two species to a close, this is the very last time the Gravediggers shall dig a pit for a woodcrafter. Her companion bird lands upon her antler, for some time not understanding why their friend is
No,
silent.
come on, bird.
Bird stays in the Gravedigger village
Bird.
for a few days, watching them cast out to sea. The Gravediggers
very
are
cool.
determined to fulfill the final wishes of the woodcrafter and chart what lies beyond the horizon. The last woodcrafter told them that in a world as big as this one, there had to be more intelligent species like themselves. Somewhere out upon the sea, they hope to fulfill the dream of their dear friend. And Bird flies off on their own, beyond the beach they know so
Goddammit,
well.
Bird.
But they never forget the last woodcrafter, or the phrase, "I love you, Bird," which they repeat to their children, who like Bird do not understand the meaning, but understand the context in which to use these words. For the Chatterers are, in fact, the descendants
Lord.
of the last babbling jays,
Yep,
the
babbling
first advanced
jays.
intelligent life to emerge for a brief time on Serina all those eons ago. And while Chatterers aren't as intelligent as their ancestors from the Pangeacene, they are a species to keep an eye on. Through the coming generations, the last woodcrafter lives on in the words the wild Chatterers affectionately whisper to each other, carrying her memory across the stretch of time.
Okay.
Alright.
And out to sea,
At least
the
the
Gravediggers
Woodcrafters
have
legacy
found
is-
a new, brighter era
alive
has
in the bird.
begun, the Ocean Age. As Serina has continued to cool, the majority of the plant and animal life have become reliant upon an equatorial ocean between the massive ice sheets of the north and south. While the sea level has technically dropped, in this period the oceans rise to greater importance than ever before in Serina's history. While braving these waters, the Gravediggers will have to contend with all manner of life. Swimming near the surface are the gigantic oceanic pikebirds.
They're
While they
like
look like
birds.
fish, as their name implies, pikebirds are, in fact, birds, specifically
okay.
metamorph birds, a clade which have managed to conquer all manners of niches across Serina thanks to their highly variable
It's like a
biology.
gar.
Pikebirds evolved from tadpole-like larvae over millions of years, with the laws of hydrodynamics and convergent evolution shaping them into remarkably fish-like organisms. And as long as food remains abundant, these fish birds will likely continue to flourish.
Fish bird.
But
Fish
the seas
bird.
of the
Fish
early
bird.
Ocean Age aren't just populated by aquatic birds. The sea dragon is a descendant of fish like the swordtail,
sea dragon
and
looks
is a
wild.
highly successful species,
cool.
albeit the last of their particular group.
Oh.
Able to breathe atmospheric air for a short period,
no.
the sea dragon has converged on a niche not
Hey.
dissimilar from Earth crocodiles. And anyone
Okay.
familiar with Earth's natural history knows that the
Let me tell you.
crocodile niche is a pretty enviable long-term gig, so to speak,
Yeah,
as crocodiles have stuck around
They've been
since the
around a
age of the
long
dinosaurs. And at 15 feet, or 4.5 meters, the sea dragons are massive predators, but they're far from the largest things patrolling these oceans. Elsewhere upon the waves, a huge horde of gnashing teeth and shifting legs moves
What?
upon the surface.
Oh,
That's the whole
This is
family.
a sea shoggoth,
wow.
and it's a colony of the most unexpected
shoggoth.
creature, the ant. Left
Oh
on
my
Serina
God.
as a food source
Effing ants,
millions of
dude.
years ago,
Ants are
the
so
unassuming
intelligent.
ants have
They're
quietly
everywhere,
been
bro.
evolving
We
in the
can't escape them.
margins since the beginning of this epic. By the early
Okay.
Ultimocene, certain ant colonies had adapted to move in super colonies millions
Ant
strong,
birds.
devouring everything too
Ants are
slow
so
to
scary.
escape their advance through the underbrush. And now, in the Ocean Age, the descendants of
Lord.
these ravenous colonies have taken to the sea, functioning
That's
like a
crazy.
single massive
That's-
predator. With many sea
Wow.
shoggoths more than 30 feet, or 9 meters across, they require a tremendous amount of food to function. Once a humble food source, these ants are now the hunters. Other species need to watch their backs. But the
That's
social
crazy.
Gravediggers are thriving. Just 5,000 years after the last woodcrafter, they've become a skilled, seafaring civilization, with traps, tools, and a written language. Metalworking, however, is difficult in such an environment and has never been discovered, so their technological growth has remained largely unchanged for many centuries. Yet in all that time, the Gravediggers haven't forgotten the last woodcrafters' message. From oral traditions and art like this tablet, the memory of their lost friends has been kept alive. The Gravediggers have immortalized the woodcrafters as parent-like figures who help show them the value of life different from themselves. As a result, modern gravedigger culture emphasizes the gravediggers are only a small part of a wider food web, and that somewhere in the ocean there must be other intelligent life forms. Little do they know that deep below the water's surface, another intelligence has indeed developed in the form of the daydreamers. These life forms have been evolving, unnoticed, under the waves since before the rise of the woodcrafters. And in that time, the daydreamers developed a way of thinking which is entirely unique. We've actually met the ancestor of the daydreamers before in this saga, in the form of the sea strikers, a group of predators with intelligence roughly analogous to a dolphin's. The sea strikers learned to farm and feed upon the porplets, a type of dollfinch that were also quite intelligent. And in the modern day, the daydreamers have evolved a truly distinctive form of intelligence. Their brain is divided into two hemispheres that can function independently of each other, so that one half can sleep while the other remains active. Strange as this might sound, the brain hemispheres of certain dolphins can also do this to a lesser extent. But the experience of having a brain like a daydreamer would be strange indeed, because the daydreamer dreams while wide awake. Taking these dreams as visions and prophecies, daydreamers are a highly spiritual populace, and there is one legend that stands out from the others. A creation myth, glimpsed through shifting dreams of how Serina came to be. According to the daydreamers, in the beginning, a mysterious creator was alone in the void. To amuse themselves, they began to build, forming something from the nothing until the world itself was drawn into creation. The creator forged the air, the water, and the land, and all of the life that dwelled upon the three realms. Then the creator gazed down from above, and grew curious. The creator wished to experience the new world, not from the outside, but from within. And so, the creator fractured their essence into thirds. One soared off into the limitless sky, the next walked upon the shores and far beyond. And there they continued to reshape and change the land as they saw fit. The last settled in the lowest realm, using their strong flippers to dive down deep into the seas. And the daydreamers believe that one day, the three splinters will find one another again, and the creator will finish its journey. It's a fascinating tale, and perhaps some form of truth lies hidden in the daydreamers' mythos. In any case, while the story is one of unity, a dangerous societal rift currently exists between two distinct daydreamer populations.
Here we go.
The undersea daydreamer populations are divided between a group called the Fishers and a group called the Pastoralists. The Fishers feed entirely on small aquatic life, and have a close alliance with the intelligent Luddies, a relative of the porplets they once farmed. The Fishers are a uniquely social and curious group, and have taken on an almost parental role in keeping the Luddies safe from predators. In contrast, the Pastoralists live a very different lifestyle. They continue the ancient survival strategy of farming porplets for food, which is reflected in their larger, serrated beaks. The porplets, however, are much changed, becoming the knot, a livestock species almost too rotund to swim and blissfully unable to comprehend their situation.
They're actually
Indeed, the knot can only survive thanks to the protection of their pastoralist farmhands. This complicated situation, however, has led to a seemingly endless Cold War between the two populations, with the Fishers seeing the pastoralists as evil, and the pastoralists seeing the Fishers as bizarre extremists. But now, an ancient threat is emerging that threatens both populations. For there is another, long-lost faction of daydreamers. These are the warmongers, a huge offshoot that evolved to hunt wild prey in the distant open oceans. They diverged even before the Fishers and the pastoralists split off. And now, this isolationist subset has found their cousins again. And the warmongers have their own beliefs, that they alone are the sole descendants of a dead god, and therefore are above all other life, including the daydreamers. The jaws of the warmongers don't distinguish between fishers and pastoralists. And now, an all-out war is beginning.
Oh my god.
But the other daydreamers have hope. Hope because the fishers believe that they have found another aspect of the creator from their most sacred myth.
Yeah, the
For
Gravediggers.
some time now, the ever-curious fishers have been aware of the Gravediggers, finding their tools upon the ocean floor, strange relics from another realm. Many fishers come to wonder if perhaps these strange creatures are one of the
Dude, even
lost
their
essences
boats look
of their
like
supposed
Gravediggers.
creators. And with the warmonger threat on the rise, the fishers
that's
have
crazy.
decided to, at last, make contact with the strange creatures from the surface. The first gravediggers to be greeted by a talking whale urgently pleading for their help were surely confused. And indeed, the first fishers able to mimic the gravediggers' slow, guttural language are imperfect messengers at best. But the gravediggers are eager to listen. News of talking whales travels
Wow,
quickly,
dude.
as it is the fulfillment of the gravediggers' own mythos, just as it is the fishers, to meet another intelligent species. And as communication improves and the danger of the warmongers becomes clear, the gravediggers realize it will take both the fishers and the pastoralists united to stop them.
Okay.
And while neither side believes an alliance is possible, for once they have a common ally and a common enemy.
No.
But the warmongers have been watching.
That
A
look
select
crazy.
few know the daydreamers have
I know,
allied
dude,
with
this
mysterious
art.
animals from above the water, and see the gravediggers as a threat to warmonger culture. After all, the advanced gravediggers seem like living proof the
I
daydreamer
can see this
creation
whole thing
story
going
has
down.
more truth than they assumed.
They just
With their
imagine it.
size and strength,
I can't
what
do
chance
that.
would the puny gravediggers have against them? But indeed, by dragging the gravediggers into the warmongers make a fatal mistake.
Yeah.
In their next battle with the daydreamers, fishers and pastoralists strike with poisoned spears that the
Poisoned
warmongers can't
spears.
comprehend, and wear stark white plates and bones that block the force of their jaws.
Oh, do they have
With
armor?
and weapons
Dang.
created by the
That's
gravediggers, the daydreamers
That
are now
is
more than a match
crazy.
for the warmonger legions. But the warmongers aren't as homogeneous as they first appear. They too are made of different groups, forged from generations of struggle, and many are only seeking to survive. And as the tides of war change, young warmongers question their allegiance to their leader.
Okay,
After much
rebelling
suffering,
now.
the old
Shit.
figures of power are violently cast out, and the warmonger ranks are shattered from within. And the war for
Okay.
the ocean, at last, comes to an end.
That's crazy, dude. This
Healing
is
and
crazy.
reconciliation
dang.
do not come immediately, for such things are rarely so simple. The immediate fighting has ceased, yet the warmonger remnants are now leaderless and disrupted, and the fishers and pastoralists remain divided.
Dude, now
But
they
as
tamed
the
the
years
whole
become
sea?
centuries and centuries become millennia, daydreamers begin to blend, guided in part by their allies from the land. Together, this coastal alliance of gravediggers and daydreamers will persist over a timescale no culture before them has ever come close to. And the gravediggers would never forget their oldest allies,
Yeah.
the woodcrafters, who helped make all of this possible. There are many stories yet to be told,
Now we
and
gotta find
questions
that-
yet to be answered,
the
but that's all I
aerial
can give away
bird.
for now.
I know, dude.
The story of Serina is still ongoing,
Bird.
and if you find the project as thought-provoking as I do, please support Dylan Beta on Patreon to gain
For real.
access to
Hey, go over
entries
there.
further
Go
along
crazy.
in Serina's future.
makes you think,
I've got
really.
links in the description. And as
course it
always,
does.
thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this entry,
Curious
please lend your
Archive?
support by liking, subscribing,
hype.
and hitting the notification icon to stay up to date on all things curious. See you in the next video.
Dude, I'd be so
Wow.
down to see like a little fucking
Oh my god.
like an
That should be
animation.
an actual series.
I'd like seeing
yeah.
animation, dude. That'd be so sick.
Dude, that's so right here where they're talking about like the culture and like the daydreamers beliefs with like the three different ground, sea, and air
Yeah.
gods split into multiple different things.
It's crazy.
Now I wonder when they're gonna find the aerial intelligent species, and then like they're gonna go to stupid space or some shit.
Space, yeah.
You know,
Oh
the-
man, I can already see him just
Oh my
being
goodness.
able to make glass and make space helmets. That'd be something.
dude, right here, this scene right here is so sick.
It is. It really is.
Right here tells the whole damn story right there.
Yeah.
Warmonger arc hype. Part 4 hype. I love it. I love it. God.
Love the names too. Gotta love the names he gives them.
Oh, I know, right?
The
True.
art's fantastic, man. This art style's fantastic too.
They, like it portrays
It
the
really
whole
is.
story. Like you could just imagine the sequence of events from the pictures and the way this guy is telling us. It's so good. I love it. So
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
So you
Love
guys,
it.
if you guys like that brick of Serena, go ahead and request more if you want. And if you guys like the video, like, comment, and sub. It really does help us a lot. Maybe hit the bell icon too. It really does help out the channel a lot. And if you have any other reactions, be it game, movie, any type of trailers, YouTube videos, stuff like that, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section below. We will look at it and get to it. So like always, stay cranky.